Welcome to Stitch and Spill, where we crochet our days away. Today we're going to answer the question, why do we even chain up? So I'm using medium or worsted weight yarn. It's going to be a size 4 and a large hook. This one is 6.5 millimeters. So why do we chain up, right? We've got our foundation. I'm going to make a foundation very quickly. Here we have our foundation chain, right? And we could just keep going. Most patterns will call for a certain number at the base, and then you kind of have to decide if you are doing your own pattern off the top of your head, how long you want a chain to be, depending on, what your project is. So those are the two ways that we decide how long our chain is going to be. And then we're going to make a row of single crochet stitches, right? So we've come to the end of our foundation row. And we could continue, or we could try to continue down this chain, right? I mean, there's no more chain. So that's one, right? If I wanted to keep going, there would be no other place for me to go. I have no choice but to turn my project. So this is what I like to call a ladder. We're going to go up before we go over, up before we cross over, right? And that is called chaining up. So you'll see in a pattern, chain 2 or chain 3, turn, chain 2, and chain 3. So that physically looks like this. Turn, chain, so create a chain 1 or chain 2, depending on what the pattern calls for. And now you've created your ladder, your structure for going up a row. From here on, you'll likely ignore your chain and go into the first stitch away from your chain. So whether or not they tell you to chain up 1, 2, or 3, you're actually just going to ignore this chain, right? And go into the first stitch. And we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, right, to work with. You can even count them this way. So we're going to go into that empty space. And for this row, since I chained up 2, I'm probably going to do like a half double crochet. Insert, yarn over, pull through 3, right? And again, there's nowhere else for me to go after this next stitch. Yarn over, insert, pull through 3, right? So I need a structure like at the end of this to bring me up to the next row. So I'm gonna chain 2 again. You'll start to see it'll square off. Right now it's a little wonky, but that's okay. We're gonna round off and we're going into the first empty space. So we've reached the end of the row and you can see that there's one more empty space. There's one more. We are ignoring our chain as always, right? But there is a space here. There's a chain here. So we're gonna go in and up. We're starting to square off. I made this one a little loose, but that's okay. We chain up because there's nowhere else to go, 1, and 2, because we need to create a structure to move our rows up. So we turn, we chain, and then we move. And there you have it, our first little swatch. It's funky, but it is a square, right? So because I use thinner yarn and a bigger hook, I'll have a lot of holes in my project, which is fine. And that's why we chain up.